Just going to do your homework. This is the next best thing to actually doing it together, because you can watch this at whatever speed's appropriate for you and see how our approaches are different and what I'm thinking. This helps you refine your technique, see what things you're not doing or checking for, see areas that you could improve. If I don't get exactly the same answers as is in the back of the textbook, that's just because maybe setups are different. It can happen. It doesn't mean anyone is particularly right or wrong, but let's just go here. B flat chord right here. I've got a B flat and a D. Looks like the F looks good there and the B flat looks good there. Spacing is nice and open, less than an octave, less than an octave. Looks good. Here's my trick here. Watch this. Nothing. Right? This is literally voice exchange, but instead of tenor and soprano, it's bass and soprano. Right? So these guys are going to stay solid there. I've got a root and a third in all these chords, and it doesn't, no tendency tones to worry about. So we're good. Going to my 5 chord here. Well, that's an FAC chord. And I think the easiest thing here is to employ the axiom that the least movement is the best movement. I don't have to check anything against the F for parallels or anything because it didn't move. This one here, I should check. There's an octave right there, see? But since this went down a step and that went up, this is an octave, that's a 10th or a third, no problems, okay? E minor, I wanna be careful of D sharp because that's a tendency tone and it's right there, okay? There are no diminished chords here. So again, I'm gonna probably just start with the doubled like that, right? E, G, E, B. Spacing looks good right there. As I go to my 5 chord, I got to think about the spelling. It's B, D sharp, and F sharp, right? So, you know, smooth is good. Never going to have any problems there. I don't think I can go down to my D sharp right here. It's tempting, see, because that'd be just a half step down, but then I have double D sharp, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to go unison there, planning to split this off next time right here. So the 5-3 here is to let you know that we've gone back to the B chord in root position. That's all. 6th, 1st inversion, 3rd, same chord right here. If you want, you can put a 5 in there just to remind yourself. You don't need to. And since this is leaving the D sharp and going down, I feel pretty comfortable about bringing this guy down. Don't forget to sharp there. Otherwise, you spelled it wrong. And this guy right here is going to do nothing because nothing is good, right? It's probably not okay to go E here, E there, and B there because there's no chord third there. So I'm just going to bring you down to there. There's my third. And that's probably fine. You could have alternatively brought your alto down to there to have a complete chord. Either one is fine, I think. Yeah, going on. D minor, there's no, or D major, no diminished chords. Leading tone is the C sharp right there. We don't want to double C sharp. We have to think about that, right? So range is pretty high up here. I'm on a 6 chord, which is B minor. I've got my B. I need a D, you know. I can't put my D there because then there's more than an octave. If I put my D there, likely I'm not going to be able to get an octave gap or less between there. So this is going to come down to the B, just by necessity. I guess it could have been an F sharp as well, but we'll just go like that. And then I need my D right there. Okay. But you understand that if I put my D up here, there'd be too much space to my tenor probably. Tenors would have to be in extreme range. And if I put my D down there, then it's more than an octave there. The other alternative, of course, is to not have double B. You could have started with an F right there. Okay, but you don't have to. I'm just gonna play it out and see. I'm gonna use green pen, which means it's gonna be a mess if I have to change things up, but we'll see how it goes. This is E minor chord right here, 2 chord, right? So I've got an E and a G. And I can't help but feel like, you know, I could just bring this guy up like that right there, right? And here's where I could make you think you might want to make an adjustment to come down for range. See that? And that would help us here, but be careful. In this voicing, I've got a B and a B right here. And if I go down to the G, that's parallel octaves. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to stay there and hope to make some adjustments as we go. It only comes down a little bit and then goes back up. 5 chord is an A chord, right? I just see this is pre-made like this. You know, poor tenors, but we're okay. By the way, checking here, like I said, our doubled note is that right there. And they've already given us our outside voices, so we know that they're not parallel fifths right there, nor is this going to make a parallel fifth because they also didn't move. We move from this chord to this chord. We should check and make sure that our E's, E and E, are not coming to another E. And again, oblique motion where one voice doesn't move means you'll never have a problem with that voice making parallel octaves or fifths. Okay. And then 6. Now, this is 5 going to 6. T is going to do. It's in the upper voice. It has to. We should use a formula here and see if this works out. This is our, this is our B chord again. And so I think we just come down to there, and then we come down to there. This is literally just a formula. Everything moves opposite the bass step, but T is in the top here, and so it gets to go up, right? I'm going to keep going, but you can turn this on or turn this off, speed it up or slow it down as you need to, or take a break. But for me, I'll at least do another line before I think about a break. So I'm in E flat. This is my A flat chord right here, A flat and C, root and third's already done. You know, I put my E flat there and another A flat there. I think that's fine. Or I could just say no, I think we'll put our E flat here like this, right? And I'm going to double my C. And, should we be doubling the third? Excellent question. I think in this case, I decided for better ranges for singing than having them up on an E flat as well, and these guys up on the A flat. The textbook, I didn't check, but the textbook might have set it up like this. You never know. I'm just going to go with this, though. I just got to be careful that my doubled note right here, I don't go to a B flat there as well. I'm going to my 5 chord from my 4 chord. Normally, the formula would say everybody goes opposite. And in that case, this would come down and that would come down. And I think that would be fine. But we don't have that. I think we're going to go like, yeah, I think this has made a problem for us right here because, if we come down to the D like there, and we go up to the D right there because we don't want a parallel octave, then we have doubled tendency tone, which is the D right there. So we have to go back. Here's an example where a little spot checking is important. We have to set up our alto there and set up our tenor as an E flat. Otherwise, we end up with parallel isms that we don't want, or doubling the tendency tone. So now that we've got this set up with A, E flat, C, and A flat, right, we can just do opposite the bass step. So that's going to go right there. And although it looks like it's going up, it's actually going down. It's just because they didn't rewrite that above it. But everything moves opposite the bass step. Okay. Going to a 1/6. This is my E flat chord, B flat, G. I certainly need an E flat. And I think it's going to be like this. Maybe. I could go up to the E flat as well, but I think since this is oblique here, I just move this down. Now I have an E flat, B flat, B flat, and G, which I think is fine. Might be better to do that right there. That's another possibility. You have to listen to how they sound. This is do, T, do. It's pretty good. 4 chord here is A flat chord, A flat, C, E flat, like that right there. Now, here's an interesting thing. Either of these notes are fine, I guess, but we don't want to keep this held over to an E flat. it's okay maybe because they're not moving. You know, you could say this is an octave and that'd be another octave, but they're not moving, so it's fine. But I think we'll just do, you know, like that right there. Lots of possibilities for there. It could be E flat on top as well, right? Okay, let me just check for some things here. So I have my A and my A, so that's going down, that's going up, that's fine. Here's my A and my E flat right here. A flat and E flat, that's a fifth. That's coming down to a third right there, so that's fine. Here I have B flat and B flat, but this is staying oblique, and that's moving down a third. This one moves down by a step because there's my other B flat and F right there. And so this is fine, okay? Moving on to here, F sharp minor. Again, so the E sharp is my tendency tone. I want to watch out for that. And, you know, I could go A here and C there, or F sharp and C. Since I've got these both arranged, you know, you can do it a bunch of different ways. For myself, because the bass line is staying kind of low, but this is coming down, I'm just gonna start with, I think it's fine. I think I'll just go like that right there. Give myself a standard voicing of 2 roots and the third and the fifth. Then we'll see where we go. So this is a C sharp major chord right here. And we can kind of play, we could kind of play common tone where this went held over, and then this, if it goes down to the E sharp, then we have parallel octaves and double leading tone right here, right? So we can either go up like that and then pop down later, or we can jump down right now like that. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to skip this guy down to the root like that. Okay, going up leaves me in a weird situation where we're going to have to jump down again. This is holding over, so it's nice and steady. And now I've got double roots. I'm going to my 1 chord. We got root, root, root. I'm going to need a third in here, but I think this can hold over like that. And that can go to my third right there. And this oblique motion here and that oblique motion there sort of disqualifies those guys from having problems, right? The outer voices we know are good because the textbook gave it to us, but we could have checked those as well. Going from 1 to 4, well, I've got root, root, third, fifth, and I got a root position 4 chord, and that's holding over. I wonder if I can just use some kind of formula like common tone, maybe. So this is a B chord right here, root to root, common tone holds over. These guys move in step in the same direction to fill out the chord. And we're good. So it's nice to see our formulas are usable about 30–40% of the time as well. Or, you know, like parts of the formula, principles from the formula. I'm in D minor. I have to watch out for my C sharp right here. I don't want to double that. There's no diminished chords, no chords with sevenths. This is already an inversion. You know, I think actually I'm gonna start with that right there, like that, and that, like that right there. Now, if these both held over, I just want to preemptively say, you know, is that okay? And the answer is probably. I know that they're changing chords, and I know that that's an octave and that's an octave, but they're not moving, they're static. And so it doesn't really sound terrible. If it really bothers you, you can jump this down to the B flat right there. Our next chord is a G minor chord. And, you know, you know, apart from I think I'm just going to leave it right there, just so that you have this indelible in your mind. Remember that parallel octaves and consecutive octaves in opposite direction, contrary motion octaves, are a problem when chords change and these chords move, right? Or these notes move, but they're not moving, they're staying static. So I'm just going to do that. Jumping down to the B flat would have been fine as well, but I'll leave them like that. Now, when I get to here, I got to make sure that this doesn't go down to C sharp, because then I have parallel octaves and I'm doubling C sharp, which I told myself this time I promised I wouldn't do. So this has got to go up to the E, right? I've got a root, third, and fifth. This can do whatever it wants as long as it's not causing parallel fifths or anything like that. and it can't. So I think we're just going to go up to the A right there. So A, right? C sharp, E. And as we resolve this, I've got A, C sharp, and E. It's a complete 5-chord in root position. Going to a root position 1 chord, I bet I can use common tone here, which is root to root, common tone holds over. This guy gets to climb all the way up to the F sharp, which is high, and yet doable. If you're a tenor, you're a tenor. La, 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 la. It's very high, but it's acceptable for ranges there. All right. I think that's all I'm going to do on this video right now. It's a good time for you to take a break and think about the differences here between your work and my work, and also what was in the answer keys. They're also very useful, and I will come back and make another video of this later.